I'm curious about whether or not a Christian should engage with cultural representations of magic, such as Harry Potter, Dungeons and Dragons, Pokemon, even Ouija boards, and how, if at all, they differ from the works of Lewis and Tolkien. Are there boundaries we should set? Should it be avoided entirely, etc.?
This is your moment. You've been waiting your whole life for this question.
You lost me at Ouija board.
Yeah.
Listen, no, this is such a good question. I'm only like halfway through reading Harry Potter right now for the first time. But part of the reason I've never read it is because when I was a kid, I was not allowed, my mom's gonna listen to this. I was not allowed to read it as a kid. And then I also didn't read or watch Lord of the Rings because I was like, there's not a difference. They both have good and evil. They both have magic. And so when my parents, who were very pro me reading or watching Lord of the Rings, wouldn't let me read or watch Harry Potter, I was like, no, I'm going to be totally consistent and not watch either. So now I have seen Lord of the Rings and I'm reading and watching Harry Potter. But I just say this to say, your point is very good that we are not often thoughtful about why some of them have become sort of like Christian things that sort of just like fill Christian subculture and youth groups and, church, and why some things are very controversial. There could be good reasons, but we're not often very thoughtful about the reasons.
Some of your parents grew up during the Satanic Panic in the 1980s, and it was heavily promoted that Satanism was all around us, and you could bump into it, and it could get on you. And so when we looked at media and when we listened to music and we played the music backwards just to double check that there was no Satan in it, it was like COVID-19 but with the devil. And so we all put on masks and hunkered down inside and then had children and they wanted to read Harry Potter or play Dungeons and Dragons or, but in some cases, you look at it now and say, that is so silly. What do you mean? It's a story, it's imaginary. When you understand the waters that the parents, that generation grew up in, it's not as surprising that there was a hyper sensitivity to not guilt by association, but infection. And I still hear it in older generations of can I watch that show and not be affected? Can I listen to that music and not be affected or infected? And that's a theological, and so then, my generation then said, oh, that was so dumb. I can watch or listen to anything and it will have no effect on me whatsoever. And we go in the other direction. I think it's more dangerous for kids to watch shows that have no moral bearing, like no up and down. That just nothing matters than to read Harry Potter, which has such a profoundly strong sense of morality and a fictitious view of magic.
Why does Scripture prohibit these practices? Astrology, necromancy, divination, witchcraft. It's because in the ancient world, these were practices that were employed to try to control the deities and to control God. How do I get the outcome I want guaranteed? How do I know what's going to happen in the future? It's all predicated on fear and control. And the God of Israel comes along and said, for my people, these practices are prohibited because I am not someone you can control, number one. And number two, I have proven my love for you by rescuing you from Egypt. And I have committed myself in covenant to you, and I will do good by you, and I'm inviting you to trust me rather than try to control me. Once you understand that that is the heart of witchcraft and magic and all these things, okay, now let's fast forward to the Satanic Panic and to our environment today. In Godfather Part 2, Michael Corleone says, you keep your friends close and you keep your enemies even closer. How stupid do you think the enemy of the church has to be to think that something as obvious as flat out witchcraft and Ouija boards and all that is going to be the real portal to the demonic? If he has half a brain, he knows that the way to really get us is by masquerading as an angel of light. I am not concerned about Harry Potter. I am not concerned about Lord of the Rings or Dungeons and Dragons. I'm concerned about the thing that is masquerading as Christian, that is giving you a means of trying to control God. If you want to know what's really magical and demonic, the prayer of Jabez. How about growing kids God's way? How about guaranteed outcomes that if you just do X, Y, and Z, God is obligated to bless you and give you what you want? That is the modern depiction of demonic magic in the church. It's not these things that have horns and tails. You have to be more sophisticated at this and think like the enemy would. That's the goal of magic.
Hey, everybody, like and subscribe so we can make more videos like this and more people can find them.